The Red Dirt D&D podcast is brought to you by Pro Laser Cuts. The Oklahoma company provides pre-made and customizable design laser-cut dice towers, tokens, and more developed by a gamer for gamers and now available to enhance your tabletop game. Pro Laser Cuts products can be found at many Oklahoma City area game stores, local events, and now available online at prolasercuts.com. That's laser and cuts with a Z, Pro Laser Cuts.
Why, hello there! I do not believe we've had the pleasure of being introduced before. My name is Poppy Tealeaf, and I am just so pleased to meet you today. You know, when my friends and I set out on this expedition, I knew my life would change, but I didn't quite know it would change this much. I definitely didn't expect the adventures that we would have. And I'm just so glad that you decided to come along for the ride with us. I'm always looking to make new friends, so if you could just do me a big ol' heaping helping favor and recommend us to your friends, leave us a rating, or give us a review on Apple Podcasts, I would be so eternally grateful. I really would. And Wildfire would as well. So, from me and Wildfire, thank you so much for listening to our tales from the Caliban frontier and being a part of our lives. We do so appreciate it.
For Red Dirt D&D, I'm Michael Cross. Before we start, I wanted to let you know Johnny Payne couldn't make it to this episode, but we are joined by Connor Chenault, who plays Connor the Kobold. So sit back and enjoy tales from the Caliban frontier. Welcome to Red Dirt D&D. I'm Michael Cross, and I play Gideon Block, a paladin with a tragic past.
I'm Brooke Bullock, and I play Coughran Stoneshaper, a young dwarf sorcerer setting out to understand his own arcane gifts.
I'm Kiri Hester, and I play Poppy Tealeaf, a highborn halfling druid searching for a new life.
I'm Ash King, your dungeon master, here today with special guest star
Connor Chenault as Connor with a K, the kobold.
Join us now for Tales from the Caliban Frontier. The desert sun sets, and another day on the frontier comes to a close. You've all been through an ordeal between rushing to Jubilee's aid and uncovering secrets about Tealeaf Tea. It's been a rough day. As the sun sets fully, Jubilee very gently kind of brings their horse alongside yours, Gideon, and kind of touches your shoulder and says, Gideon, it really would be best to make camp.
I agree, Jubilee. That's a good idea. And I signaled to everybody, I said, let's tell you what, let's stop and camp here for the night. I think we've run out of daylight. Traveling Caliban without sunlight is not a safe thing. So let's set up camp and relax.
Not here. There. And Jubilee points to a fairly prominent kind of outcrop. It's pretty easy to get on top of. It doesn't take you too long to get to it, but...
I signal over to Macron following Jubilee. They're going to show us a safe place to camp for the night.
How long has it been since Anarchy's death?
Oh, not more than an hour.
Okay, just double checking. Still a panther.
Yeah, and as you guys had kind of passed Anarchy's body, Jubilee actually, they made sure that, he was picked up. But she just kind of looks at you and just says, Gideon, tomorrow morning, if you would be amicable, would you assist me in laying him to rest?
I'd be proud to help you with that.
Thank you. And they go over to kind of where, because I'm imagining you've kind of cleared out some space in the cart where Zonimus, who is still unconscious, and Anarchy, who is still and cool, and Jubilee had kind of wrapped them up a little bit in the remains of their coat. Jubilee kind of goes over to check on Zonimus, but then also to kind of rifle through Anarchy's belongings real quick, and finally finds what they're looking for. And they pull out a pendant that Jubilee hands over to you, Gideon. This is Anarchy's badge of office, as we'll say. He actually made it quite far up the ranks. No wonder Alistair sent him out on this job. He would only send the best. But I'd send that back to Alistair with whatever message you'd like. At that point, they will help start to set up camp for the night.
And they set up a fire and sitting around it. I want to look over to Connor and in true Jimmy Stewart fashion, say, what's your deal, little one, man? You got someplace to stay?
Not particularly. I've just been traveling.
Well, apparently you've been traveling with us. We didn't even know it.
Yeah, I was in a sack earlier.
Oh, that was you. Zonimus put you in a sack?
Yeah, it was kind of... It happens.
In Zonimus's defense, he was just shielding Connor from the sun.
Oh, that's true.
I can't say that.
Still a panther.
I'm still a panther.
Well, you've proven yourself as part of this Caliban crew.
Thanks.
And I think we could certainly use your help moving on down the road.
Sure, I'll try to be helpful.
Especially, I guess you can turn, invisible?
Yeah.
How exactly are you doing that? I mean, are you got like a spell book, or?
No spell book. I just can.
It just comes naturally, like you connect with it, you can feel it.
Yeah.
What, do you touch the earth and you bring it up from?
No. It's like in my chest. I can just do it.
That's amazing.
And I bring forth this little fireball to kind of show you just as instantly as it appears.
So, can all kobolds do that, or?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Or are you more special?
It's always something dragons with kobolds. Just because of dragons, we could do this. I don't know. I was born this way. Put it at that.
Well, you were on the train. Is that what I understand? You were on the train.
Yeah.
Did you come from Venturis, or did you hop on somewhere else along the line?
I just hopped on the train.
Well, we certainly were fortunate to have you come along with us, apparently.
So I keep asking you questions. I keep pulling info, and basically Makrin is sharing that the stone sorcery that he has, and if there's a particular branch or element or aspect of sorcery that Connor with the K has, he may or may not share that specifically or not.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, he kind of just listens to you talk, and eventually his eyes kind of glaze over as he loses interest. And he kind of gives
That checks.
Yeah.
Bless his heart. Makrin tries, but he can't go on.
that's fantastic.
Yeah, sure. Totally, yeah. It's exactly like what you're saying to me.
Oh, that's amazing. That invisibility trick, that could be really handy someday.
It is, yeah.
We should work on that.
Yeah. I'll try and teach you, I guess.
Yeah, Connor, you have just absolutely no idea. You're just kind of thinking in your little kobold brain, just well, could he even learn what I do? Because he's a dwarf, and I'm a kobold.
Blah, blah, blah. And the lightning thing with the breath, it actually came out of your mouth.
That I can teach you. It's very specific. I have to be around you to teach you, and anytime you want to do it, I have to be around. It's a weird specific, but we can work it out.
I like it.
Yeah.
As a side note, now there's gonna be moments where Connor with a K is maybe this is true, maybe it's not, where he's totally teasing Makrin, and Makrin's gonna be over there, out, away from everyone, going.
Yeah.
Trying to breathe lightning.
You just center yourself, find your ground, take a huge breath. I honestly am not going to demonstrate it with everybody around, but...
No, yeah, of course not.
I don't want to injure anybody.
No.
But that's what you do, just...
Yeah, learning to control it is very important. I've learned that in my past.
Yeah. You don't want anything bad to happen.
No.
Yeah. See, you get it.
Yeah. Snoring at night, because kablam, that'd be nice.
So I want to go talk to Jubilee.
Okay. Yeah, Jubilee is kind of hanging out in the cart, watching. Apparently, Wildfire and the Jackalope have made friends.
Love it. I stand
You see Wildfire just out, kind of on the side of this, this big kind of outcropping, and just Wildfire just tosses his head back and lets out this long wolf howl, and then the Jackalope's kind of looking up at him and thinking about it for a second, and then tosses its little head back and lets out the exact same howl.
I watch in joy.
But yeah, Jubilee's just kind of there watching them with a little smirk.
Jubilee, I'm wondering, how deep does this rabbit hole go out here in the Caliban frontier? With Alistair Tealeaf and with his Tealeaf tea.
Not to break the fourth wall, it is Alster.
Alster.
Oh,
Alstor.
Okay, Alster.
Alster.
Okay.
Oh,
Alster.
Yeah.
Okay, Alster.
To be quite honest with you, Gideon, I've been out of it for 10 years. And I've been trying to lie pretty low for the last 10 years. Before, he had no interest in the frontier. Mostly just because everything out here is so far-flung, and other than maybe selling to the bandits, there's not much desire out this way. So the ground here is to the things that he makes and the things that he smuggles are very finicky. So it'd be difficult for him to establish an operation out here.
Well, but I was wondering, you said he's smuggling. Where's he smuggling from?
I imagine out of both Serenity Point and Teving, probably Litwood too.
What is he smuggling?
What isn't he smuggling is a more appropriate question, Gideon.
But he hasn't reached it out, at least as far as you know.
Not yet.
He might not know that she's alive.
And of course, the only person who we really could ask, as Jubilee looks over to where Anarchy is lying still.
Right.
Well, who knows where he is? Imagine that dusk will lead him to wander.
All right, well, somehow we've got to make everything that he deals with out here more expensive. It's got to be not worth his effort to reach his hand out into the last stop and into the Caliban frontier.
I can imagine, Gideon, that there's probably only really one thing that he wants out this way, as Jubilee's eyes
I'm
look
under the
over.
cart.
Well, or as Jubilee kind of looks down and motions with their head under the cart.
And you know how sometimes when dogs, do they just kind of...
The chuff.
and the dust kind of swirls.
Well, I guess we should get some rest, but I mean, there's got to be something we can do. Even if we just pack up and go on into the Caliban frontier. What if he came for you? What if he does? What if he comes for Mayor Jonathan? What if he comes for Hannah? What if he comes for Alyssa? I mean, these people can't defend themselves like you can.
I crawl out from under the cart, and you see a very sad panther that then makes a funny face. And then you see a very sad halfling.
Oh, sweet sugar, come here.
And I just let them hold me.
Yeah, pulls you up into the
I have
cart.
a solid 60-second, I give myself 1 minute to just go, and I cry, and I give Zonimus a pat. Thank you, I really needed that.
Yeah, Jubilee just holds you tight for as long as you need.
I'm just gonna let them I'm just gonna talk from
cuddling position.
Yes.
Coughran walks over and says, "Hey, you and I understand feeling out of control, maybe, more than most." He kind of looks over at Connor with a K for a second. I think that's, what you were feeling. Like, you were scared for all of us, and you were scared of the folks of the last stop, and Gideon, you mentioned it right now, but Poppy, you've gone with those minions of your paw. You didn't put just yourself back in his power. You would have put all of us in his power. Think about what we saw with them Yodis, and your paw kind of being like Aldonza. How long before you being there, he starts asking us to do stuff because he's got you? It weren't going to be long, and that suddenly we're slaves because he's got you and we care about you and stuff. So, we got to find some way to, at least as some Jubilee said, we got to find a way to make it not profitable for him. I don't know if that's violence or resistance or just, telling people to be careful of smugglers. I don't know yet, but none of us can give up the freedom of the frontier just to try to keep one of our friends safe.
I'm gonna look up at Jubilee. Do you believe my father knows that you're alive?
If he knows that I'm alive, he probably doesn't care.
You have to take me back. You have to turn me in, and we have to figure out a way from the inside. How am I supposed to stop this. I don't even know where to start. The only context I have is in Venturus. The only skill set that I have that can do anything is in Venturus.
Poppy Tealeaf, from the stories that I have heard from Yazgash crowing about how happy they are to see such a talented young druid out here on the frontier, do you really think that your life should revolve around the iron and glass that is Venturus?
What am I supposed to do? Put a mountain where a railroad's supposed to be? Am I supposed to block the frontier off from my father and just hope that the East can hold its own?
Well, I mean, there is a mighty fine dwarven railroad junction. You blow one place, and the whole line is crippled. But
I'm just gonna say I don't think that's a good idea either.
But if you blow that line, there might be a fair few people who starve.
Right.
So sometimes we might have to suffer a few minor evils to protect the greater good.
The orc ranchers out here, their livelihoods depend on the meat sent over to Venturus. I don't want to disrupt any supply lines. I don't want to endanger anybody. There's got to be another way to hurt Alistair.
What are some of them druid lessons? Everything's connected. What's the word? Ecosystem of things. Poppy, we don't know exactly how it all fits in, but you're supposed to be out here. You can feel it. This is your place.
I agree. We've only been out here a short time, but it's kind of become our home. And Poppy, I'm not lying. We love you, and we don't want you to go. I don't think it's going to hurt. I think Macron's spot on here. If you were to go back, we'd have to follow. Then he'd take us and say if we didn't do what he said, then he's going to hurt you. That's got so much more power. He'd have power over us. Right now, we are free, and we can fight back against him from here. We don't have to go storming his castle to stop him.
We don't storm the castle. I walk right in.
There's been many a person who's walked willingly into chains who has never walked back out.
The way I see it, that I have a little bit of time. Best case scenario for my father. I show up probably like a day, maybe less. I'm married to Byron. Then we're still at a bit of an impasse, because although he has joined together the Sweet Gum and the Tealeaf family, women are worth more than their reproductive abilities, but he would need a child. I would have some time. He could lock me up. He could hurt me psychologically, but he wouldn't want to hurt me physically. I don't have any other ideas. If you have another idea other than we can figure something out, by all means, I'm ready to listen. But right now, I'm seeing the people that I love and care about get hurt over and over again, and I can't do anything to stop it.
I know, and you see, it's the same way. We wouldn't be able to stop him from hurting you, even if we didn't know exactly what that was. If nothing else, he's got you captive. And then we would be slaves to him. And that's not the way this is working. We are out here and we are free. And you are a free woman, Poppy. And there is nothing, we're not going to let you go. I know we've got time to figure this out. Right now, we have an entire town that loves and cares for you. Hannah and Alyssa, even Riza, Jubilee here. We're all going to care for you.
If you go back with him, you put all of us in his grip. You gotta fight for our sakes. You cannot go back to him. Let's give it a few days at least. It's gonna take time for word to get back that the first attempt failed, and then we'll see what his move is, maybe. But if you just go waltzing in there, you've just signed away all of us. Give it a few days. Let's find out.
Jubilee very gently cups your cheeks, forces you to look at him, wipes away the tears under your eyes. Poppy Tealeaf, you stay out here in the frontier. You get stronger. You nurture that gift that the Great Mother has given you. And then you go take that gift and give it back tenfold. Now, I don't know how much you know about druids, but there's a reason out here we love them and we're scared of them. The Yazgash, she is beautiful and she is mighty. And everyone loves her because she is like a mother to us all. But I wouldn't want to cross her, ever. I have seen her both bless and blight fields, and I feel that you could do the same if you would let yourself. Let go of this, Poppy, or keep it tight in you. Nurture the hatred. See where it takes you. Might just take you, 6 feet under, or worse. The School of Enchantment is a nasty little thing.
I got a question. There was something that I remember back in insurance, the guy we were hunting down. He had this ability, called it scrying, and it was his ability to kind of see other things. We're sending back a badge. Jubilee, do you know anybody who might be able to do something like that in the last stop? Anybody who could scry? If we let them see the badge, could we scry on it to see through it once it gets to Alster?
Not me.
No.
Not in the last stop, but...
That anything your people can do? Little Connor with a cape?
I don't know. I can't do it.
All right.
I've heard rumors. Deeper in the frontier, ghost elves. The rumors say that there's all sorts of powers that they have access to. They're said to be great diviners among them. Some that see the past, some that see the future, some that look in on people on the present. That might be a better bet.
I like that plan. Look, Poppy, here's the other thing. We have quite a few days here. I don't have to send this badge back. As soon as we send this badge back, Alistair's going to know what happened. But until he gets word, he's not going to know. So we've got a couple days. First off, we try to take care of Zonimus, figure out what's going on with him. And Connor, if you're willing to come with us, we could probably use your help.
Sure.
I like the idea of looking up these ghost elves and seeing if they might be able to help us out. What do you think, Poppy? Will you be with us for a little while longer?
I said I was open to other ideas. You just weren't giving me a bunch of ideas.
I hadn't really had time to think about it.
So what do we do with this information that we get from the badge?
I was thinking we could kind of get an idea if we could watch through it to see his next moves. If we know his next moves, we could be prepared for it. That's the problem with being out here. We don't know what he's going to do. But if we could find out through this, maybe what he's going to do next, or not maybe through the badge or somehow, to find out what he's going to do next, we can be ready for it.
Coughran has, since you mentioned Zonimus' name, has kind of been looking over there and real concern on his face. As you finish saying that, he looks up with a little bit of insight and says,
Changing the course of rivers, moving mountains. That can be more than physical things. We could change the course.
I just got a lot of speeches yesterday about how you can't change the course of a river from two separate orcs. And now you're telling me we can change the course of the river. You understand my confliction here.
Yeah, but sometimes you need to flood the valley. And sometimes you need to stop the earth. And you could be able to do that. But you can't do that when you're in Venturis. You gotta do it here. You gotta do it under the tutelage of Yazgash. And you gotta do it with the Earth Mother. You're not gonna be able to do that in that city. You gotta stay here. And that's the only way you're gonna be able to fight. And hopefully, Poppy, you'll be able to do it with us.
I'm the only person that's going to be able to get anywhere near my father.
We don't need to get near your father. He can sit up in his high castle and do whatever it is he's doing.
It's not a castle, it's more of an estate.
I can dig that.
You just need to be annoying enough he stops looking for you. That's it.
And if anybody,
But that's what I'm saying, I don't know how to do that.
Well, that's what we're going to work on. But we can't work on it while you're in his hold.
if you go with them, you put us all in his
Yet
control.
you said that.
And
It's
that's
true.
the truth. And Poppy, just give us a couple of days. That's got to be worth at least 8 or 9 episodes.
Now let me tell you something. No good decision has ever been made when you're tired.
As Jubilee says this, she wiggles out of Jubilee's arms, gives Zonimus a little kiss on the forehead, turns into a wolf, gives Wildfire a nip, and they're gonna, because we're on, one of those, little things, right?
Just a rock outcropping.
Yeah, we're just gonna run around up here, safely out of reach of suspicious sand.
Thank God for a wisdom check.
And then she's just gonna stay wolf as long as she can, and there will be a very frustrated amount of play. She's gonna work out some of her regression.
Makran touches Zonimus's shoulder, his unconscious body, and buddy, I don't know how come you're not awake yet, but we need you, man.
You hear a coyote off in the distance.
In the meantime, I'll go back to settle by the camp and start making up some food. Just kind of thinking about what we've got to do, because there's got to be some way to stop. And then I think about Jubilee saying you can't think about anything while you're tired. And I think it's been a long, long day since we actually got up at the McKees this morning. So I try to, after food, I try to settle in.
I'll take first watch, Gideon.
Okay.
Hey everyone, it's Brooke. Pardon the pause in the action, but we at Red Dirt D&D are just so thankful for all of you who help keep this train rolling into the Caliban frontier. Please consider joining us as a Patreon member of Red Dirt D&D. Even if it's just $5 a month, it'll help us continue with the great sound effects, commission theme music for some other characters. It gives bonus content like the behind-the-scenes roundtable. And of course, other levels give you access to the Discord server, some great swag, and much, much more. Thank you to our special friends Nightmare and Germbot and Dan Demented, Tina, Carla, and others who've joined us at patreon.com/reddirtdnd. And everybody, please remember to post that review of Red Dirt D&D to your favorite podcast feed and share us with your friends and all over social media. We couldn't do this without you, and we thank you so much. Now, let's get back to our story.
The night passes. Overhead, a bit of a thunderstorm rolls through, but it's just one of those lightning storms that rolls through the frontier every once in a while. Connor, you feel particularly energized by this. But the morning dawns once again, and Jubilee kind of turns to you, Gideon, just giving you a little nod and says, I think I found a spot for Anarchy. And they've kind of taken a blanket and have wrapped it around Anarchy's form to shroud him. And the two of you kind of go out a little bit into the frontier, dig yourselves a 6-foot hole that you lower Anarchy down into. Jubilee doesn't say much, but after a few moments, asks your assistants to cover him over.
Yeah, and make a prayer to Lady Dusk. And say, Lady, we don't know his destination, but he's in your hands now.
Jubilee just gives a little nod. Thank you, Gideon. I appreciate it. He's a wayward soul in more ways than one.
Jubilee, I meant it when I said we've grown close to you from the very first time we met you. You're a really amazing person. I'm really glad to know you.
I appreciate that, Gideon. I've done my best. And they kind of turn on their heel to go and help y'all finish breaking camp for the morning.
All right. We got everything we need. I go check on Zonimus, see if he's...
No change.
All right.
I mean, he doesn't seem any worse, doesn't seem any better.
Jubilee, there was a guy, some kind of healer, not in the last stop itself, an orc that Hannah had gone through to get some potions.
Oh, Joshua.
Yeah, and I'm wondering, maybe we should take it to him. Maybe he could take a look over him.
He might know more. I mean, he is an herbalist.
Right. So anyway, that's something to think about once we get back to town. And
now, I say we still have a bit of a journey ahead of us. So
right.
Get saddled up and head on while we've got daylight.
Yep.
I figured we ought to be back to town just after noon.
Right.
Oh, Gideon, for you and Makran, Poppy, and of course Zonimus, whenever he decides to wake up, you have permanent drinks on the house at the Jackalope.
Don't tell Zonimus because we're late.
That's okay. I thank you. I don't drink, so Zonimus can have mine. But hey,
that just means Zonimus be coming back in another life to have the second round of drink.
I tell you, the sarsaparilla though you got, I certainly wouldn't turn that down.
A few do around here. It's my own personal brew.
Oh, that's very good.
Yeah, real generous.
That's okay. You don't ever want to drink the Shiny Moon. Now, sarsaparilla might be pretty good, Connor with a K, but yeah, stay away from Shiny Moon. It's bad news.
All right. Good tip. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
What did you ate breakfast with the rest of us? Same food, same.
You hear me grumbling about the sun rising, and I kind of tug a little hood further over my eyes as it rises further and further. But other than that, I eat with you all.
Adorable.
Mm-hmm.
You're the only creature that is smaller than me.
Yes.
And it pleases me.
I know, this party's getting shorter.
Growing in size, but not.
You're growing on the horizontal plane, not on the vertical.
Yeah.
I don't know. Next NPC is a Goliath.
That's get a balance out.
There you know, 7.
We're gonna go look for some elves.
7,
Maybe
8
they're
foot tall, can ruffle Gideon's hair.
How tall is that again?
She's probably a good 7 foot.
I figured.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Like
I thought she
7
was as tall
foot
as you.
tall orc, solidly built.
Yeah.
In fact, I think we need to go talk to some people because there were some people we left with didn't know what was happening to us. So let Asgash know we're okay and let Reason know we're back and
Definitely take Zonus to Jonathan Blackbark for sure.
yeah,
Blackbark, correct?
Black
Black
Bark.
Bark.
Yeah.
Okay, you remembering names. I'm proud of you.
We got notes.
I got notes. I've been learning from the Poppy tomes over there.
Listen, it's not a lot.
So, as you all continue on your way, headed back to the last stop, after a little while, all of a sudden, Jubilee kind of stops you. And I need everyone to roll me a perception check.
Walked into the wrong house. Can a wildfire roll one?
He can.
Okay. Wildfire didn't see, but I got a 23.
23?
Modified 3.
17.
Even with disadvantage from the sunlight sensitivity, I've got 15.
15. Okay. So yeah, it's kind of one of those things where Jubilee kind of stops because they thought they saw something. A sand dune kind of to the side of you. You see some of the sand like pouring down around these huge spines that are just kind of sticking up out. They kind of look almost like the ribcage of some fallen great beast. However, Poppy, you're the only one who notices as the sand dune itself is shifting as something beneath it stirs. I'm gonna need everyone to roll initiative.
Oh boy,
No!
Well, that's still right. Okay.
Fly. Hey, double digits.
Nice.
Telling you. Thank you, Mike. This dice has been doing great for me so far.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
Keep it separate.
I just gotta keep it out of the cursed box.
Keep it
I
away from
literally-
the box.
The cursed box is a real deal.
I literally just leave it loose in the bottom of my backpack because
By the
that's
way,
safer.
Got those at Wizards Asylum? Fantastic dice.
Alright, Connor, what'd you get?
13.
13. Gideon?
13 as well. I think my dexterity's on the +3.
Plus 2.
Okay, Makron.
Modified 21.
Look
at you.
I know.
Poppy.
15.
Okay, and then let me go
Don't
ahead.
see
I will
nothing,
roll
but I
Jubilee.
react fast.
We'll roll Jubilee in because they are fully rested today and thus
Feeling better.
Yeah,
have
everybody get a
some-
long rest just in case you hadn't.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Juby got a 17.
I didn't change that many of my spells though, because I didn't really feel like there was anything. This guy's not in the sky. The harpies got me last time because they were up too high.
All right.
Now we're better.
So, our creature beneath the sand is actually going to get a surprise round because the only one who actually noticed it was Poppy. So, Makron, you are technically up first. However, again, because it's a surprise round,
You
you
bet.
cannot act.
Can't do it.
However, you can now take reactions.
Okay.
Poppy,
Yep.
you can actually act in the surprise round. Let me just see. Just double check on. Yeah, Jubilee didn't notice this thing. So, Jubilee cannot take actions, but can take a reaction.
How far away is it from me?
Let's give it about, we'll say about 60 feet.
Okay. And I feel like it's pretty close to the top. Like it's under the surface of the sand, but it's not like down there.
Yeah, it's not like, it's not so deep. Again,
it's in the danger zone where it could eat me.
Yes.
Okay, so remember back in episode 26, 7, I was gonna use this spell, but I couldn't because the harpies were too high. But guess who's not in the sky? Guess who's in the ground? And I'm gonna say, hey Connor, watch this.
Okay.
And I'm gonna call lightning on this word. So that's a dex save of 14.
Okay, let's see what this guy gets.
Get some d10s here.
That is going to be an 8.
He failed. So that is going to be blah blah blah. Remember when I tell you guys to read your spells? Do that. Okay, this way. So he won't. Okay, so that is 11. So that's 20 damage, lightning.
Okay.
And there's nobody within 5 feet of it. Nope. And now there's just like a weirdly centralized thunderstorm over this worm.
Alright.
Because it's a concentration.
Okay.
And Wildfire will do what Wildfire does, which is hold his action unless I'm attacked.
Okie dokes. Alright. So, Gideon, you were surprised. Cannot take actions, but can now take reactions.
I'm good.
Connor, same thing. You see these spines are the only thing you see at first as it's serpentining its way under the sands, burrowing along, traveling the 40 feet, and then bursting up out of the sand is this very large, looks slightly draconic. However, Connor, you would definitely know this is not a true dragon.
Okay.
This is a sandworm.
Okay.
A worm with a Y.
We got worm sign.
Who would be at the front of the pack?
That would be me.
Would be you, Gideon? Okay. It has this huge kind of like, almost shark-like protrusion, like a shark's nose at the top of its head. It is going to use that to try and like toss you off of the horse. And it gets advantage because you are surprised. Going to be a 19. Okay. Have to be a 12. That's a rare occurrence around here. Okay, that's going to be 10 piercing. And then it's going to whip around its tail, which you do see has some pretty nasty looking stingers on it. That is going to try and whip into you as well. And that is also going to be a 19. Okay, so that is 16 piercing, and then we're just going to take the average on that. That was a lot of D6s. 24 poison, but you can give me a Constitution saving throw.
For the record, I would have been down. Only have 38 points.
10.
10. Okay, so yeah, so you will take the full 24.
I'm down.
Oh, you're down? Okay, so since you were hit with the stinger, you are stable, but poisoned and paralyzed for the next hour.
Holy smokes.
Frick. I have nothing for that.
And that's going to be it for my sandworm.
That's enough.
Well, my friends, seems to be we're in yet another pickle, as presented by the lovely flora and fauna of the frontier. We'll find out what happens next time.
Red Dirt D&D, Tales from the Caliban Frontier is Ash King as our Dungeon Master, Brooke Bullock as Macron Stonechaper, Johnny Payne as Zonimus Dinar, Kiri Hester as Poppy Tealeaf, Connor Chenauld as Connor the Kobold, and I'm Michael Cross as Gideon Block. Our theme music was created by the cinemagician P.J. Castillo. Our incidental music comes from Jeffrey McBride. Our sound effects and additional music courtesy of TabletopAudio.com and Monument Studios. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and at RedDirtDND.com. We here at Red Dirt D&D could really use your help in getting the word out about us. If you like what you've heard, make sure and subscribe, rate us, and leave a comment. Also, tell your friends about Red Dirt D&D. You can also support the show at patreon.com/RedDirtDND. We have several giving levels to help us grow up big and strong. Join us next time as we go deeper into the Caliban Frontier.